afternoon, good evening. I am your host, Data T, and this is my channel, The Good Guys. Guys, today I am going to be covering a story from salon.com. I may be walking into a minefield by covering these people. I don't think they are very politically correct, and I don't think they are on my side, especially when it comes to guns. And I'm going to read you this title. Okay, it says the NRA's toxic fuel when racism and guns unite. And I can only imagine what this is going to say. So before I get into this, guys, I'm going to read this article in its entirety. But before I do that, guys, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, leaving a comment, subscribe. Remember, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I know we can get there with your help. We've gone from 1 to 200 subscribers, and it's been great. It's been fantastic, and all I can do is say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And we're just gonna keep making this content until we get there, okay? And you guys know where you can hit me. Also, you can hit me on Twitter, on Minds, and even on TruthSocial. So without further ado, let us dive into this article. And it is by a woman named Sabrina Haake, okay? And this is her LinkedIn profile, all right? This is her. Let me go back and you can see her there, okay? So that's this woman here. And let us dive into what she has said, okay? And let's do this. The first thing we'll do is we'll read from the very beginning. It says here, there's been another mass shooting, this time in Jacksonville, Florida. Like rapid-fire bullets from an AK-47, American gun carnage is set to repeat. Random shooters can fell anyone, anywhere, at church, at school, at the Dollar General. Mass shootings occur with such frequency that Americans seem injured to a brutal reality where the unstable and aggrieved and the racist can buy a gun as easily as a pair of shoes. I'm going to say this, guys, so you understand. I have no problem if racist people purchase guns. That is their Second Amendment right. I don't care if people who feel that they have been slighted, so long as they use their guns in self-defense, I have no problem. I have met real racists and they have guns, but I have not seen them commit mass shootings. I don't have a problem with them having guns because it's their Second Amendment right. All right. So let me keep going. It says the Second Amendment wasn't intended as a death warrant. Let's see what she means by that. Alleged originalists on today's Supreme Court who claim to hew to the original meaning of the Constitution did an about-face on the Second Amendment. Disclaimer, my federal litigation practice focuses on the First and 14th Amendments. I've never tried a Second Amendment case. Okay, well, maybe if she studied the law at all, maybe she know a little bit more about the Second Amendment, she would make these outrageous claims. Okay, but let's see what else she says. The gun lobby's interpretation of the Second Amendment is one of the greatest pieces of fraud, I repeat the word fraud, on the American people by special interest groups that I have never seen in my lifetime. The real purpose of the Second Amendment was to ensure that state armies, the militia, would be maintained for the defense of the state. The very language of the Second Amendment refutes any argument that was intended to guarantee every citizen an unfettered right to any kind of weapon he or she desires. So, I'm going to call bullshit on that. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, and I'm going to actually I'm going to prove it. Okay, and here it is. Check this out. First, the first thing we need to do, what does the Second Amendment say? Let us go over that first. Okay, so the Second Amendment, here it is. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The right of the people. Correct? Okay. So, I guess she means no, never mind about the people being referenced in the Second Amendment, right? Okay, let's do also this, guys. What I want to do is I want to go over the Founding Fathers really quick. I will go through Wikipedia. I'll do it through here, okay, even though they're not the best of sources. But let's go over some of the Founding Fathers of the United States, okay? And the Founding Fathers, usually they reference John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and George Washington. Now, there are others. Okay, and if I go through the list here, it says here John Adams, Samuel Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Hancock, John Jay, he was up there, Thomas Jefferson, Richard Henry Lee, Robert R. Livingston, James Madison, George Mason, Robert Morris, Peyton Randolph, Roger Sherman, and then George Washington. Okay, so these individuals are the Founding Fathers. Okay, and I love this picture here. Okay, I love it. It's a fantastic picture, and it's what our country represents. They did so under the penalty of death, under the penalty of treason, and they formed the United States. Okay, that is what these people have done. All right, we are eternally grateful to these people because they did something very novel. Okay, but okay, let me prove to you that this woman is completely wrong. Check this out. Okay, I'm going to quote 3 Founding Fathers from the exact list I just gave you. Okay, and I'm going to give you some constitutional quotes that they themselves have given. Anytime somebody says to you, hey, constitutional scholars say that the Second Amendment is really fuck that. That's bullshit. And what I want you to do is you go directly to the Founding Fathers themselves and you quote what they have said. Okay, so check this out. James Madison, remember, he is a Founding Father. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people trained to arms is the best and most natural defense of a free country. Again, he references the people. Okay, check this out. This is from George Mason. Okay, and I think this quote should dispel all doubts about who they actually intended to have firearms. Okay, here it is. I ask, who are the militia? They consist now of the whole people, except a few public officers or a few good politicians. Okay, the whole people, folks. This is who they are referencing. They are talking about you and I. The average everyday citizen is the one who they say the people should be armed. Look at this. Let's hear another one here. It says here, to disarm the people is the most effective way to enslave them. This is according to George Mason, referencing advice given to the British Parliament by Pennsylvania Governor Sir William Keith. How does this woman believe that the guns, arms, are not meant for the people? They are completely there for the people. Guys, the Second Amendment is a check against the federal government. It is. And people keep saying all the time, for in the interest of public safety. Here's my answer to that. And this is by another founding father, and he says it this way: they that can give up essential liberty to obtain little temporary safety deserve neither liberty or safety. Folks, I'm sorry. This woman, she has no idea what she is talking about. She is a foolish woman. She really is. For her to say this. And you know what? I think she's going to give us a history lesson. Let us read what is below. It says here, this view shared by many constitutional law scholars holds that an unbought and unlobbied interpretation of the Second Amendment flows squarely from its historical text. In 1775, King George declared that the American colonies were in a state of rebellion, eager to defeat, tax, and control them while extracting their natural resources. The king sent bayonet armed soldiers to occupy the 13 colonies. The British army quartered itself in the colonists' meager homes, slept in their beds, burned their firewood, ate their scarce food, and confiscated their guns so they couldn't form a militia to fight back. She has just given us a history lesson of why we have the Second Amendment. So we can fight off not only a foreign adversary, but just in case the people at home became tyranny or took up tyranny and decided they wanted to rule the people instead of serve them. She has just made the case, folks. I don't know if she knows it or not. It says here, England disarmed the colonists to frustrate their efforts to organize a militia, which handicapped the rebels and initially Continental Army. When the fighting finally ended, Revolutionary War leaders met at the First Constitutional Convention in 1787 to draft their new governing laws. General George Washington, fresh from the fighting, didn't just attend the Constitutional Convention, he was the convention president. As written and adopted in 1791, the Second Amendment reflected the inequality of weaponry felt during the British occupation, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Nowhere does the original Second Amendment state that the citizens have the right to bear arms against each other. Rather, the right to bear arms was described as a matter of collective defense. This is bullshit. Bullshit. It says it right there, ma'am. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. It says it right there in the amendment. And we have already broken down what the militia means. The militia is the people. What a foolish woman. Okay, from militia, and this is going back to the article, from militia to every man for himself. After ratification, the Second Amendment was in quiet effect for 200 years, and various gun regulations were adopted without conflict or controversy. Trouble started brewing in the 1970s when the NRA began lobbying to increase the production, sale, and distribution of firearms. After decades of effort, the NRA's lobby paid off in 2008 when the Supreme Court declared for the first time that an individual right to gun ownership under the Second Amendment was separate from the militia clause in the very same sentence, effectively erasing those terms and the historical context altogether. No, ma'am. The historical context is the people. And if we have to go back to find, historical context, we have to look no further than what the original founding fathers have said. They have said it. Okay? I ask, who are the militia? They consist of the whole people. That's according to George Mason. He's the only constitutional scholar I need to consult. I don't need to consult anybody else. Look at this, guys. This is unbelievable what this woman is doing. In 2022, Justice Clarence Thomas made matters worse in the shameful Bruen decision which overturned New York's common sense concealed carry law. Do you hear what she's saying? Common sense concealed carry law. It boggles the mind for her to say this, guys. The Bruen decision made it possible, and it's already been there, but what they did is it made it possible, and it clearly states that you are able to have a firearm outside of the home, and you are clearly meant to keep and bear arms. It says here, relying on spacious and selective historical justification, Thomas essentially wrote that an individual's interest in carrying a concealed gun outweighed the government's interest in reducing gun deaths. It's not about the government's interest. It's about the people. It was an outrageous but predictable result from a justice who has accepted gifts of immense value from right-wing political donors. And then you have the nerve to slander him. You know what? So what? So, I mean, what is the... Nobody says anything about Mr. Joe Biden. Nobody says anything about that joker Hunter Biden. He accepted some money from the Chinese. No one says anything about that. The NRA's long-standing relationship with dark money campaign finance is no secret, thanks to the handiwork of tainted justices and Citizens United, which allows organizations to spend limitless amounts to influence elections, and thereby the courts. Today, gun lobbies estimates there are over 433 million firearms in civilian possession. Fantastic. It is a good thing. And the vast majority of those citizens, of civilians, are not committing crimes. They're not. Lax gun laws are killed. Okay, Democrats like to claim that the Democratic states have lower murder rates than Republican states, which is true. I'm glad she realizes it, but only because political affiliations drive gun policies, arranging gun mortality rates according to controlling party affiliation. The CDC reports that twice the number of people are murdered per capita in red states than blue, even though red states tend to have more rural populations. In 2021, there were 6 murders per 100,000 residents in Democratic states compared to 14 in Republican states. The correlation between gun regulations and homicide rates is plain. States with stronger gun laws experience less per capita gun violence, a fact of no relevance to lawmakers funded by the NRA. Guys, I'm going to say something here, and it's just something that it's an obvious observation. If the most liberal countries or states that have the strictest gun laws have the worst crime, this is something that we can see. If we look at DC, if we look at Chicago, if we look at if we look at even Seattle, California, Los Angeles, these places are run by Democrats. Look at Baltimore, Maryland. They are run by Democrats, and they have the strictest gun laws in the country, and they have the worst crime. This woman, she doesn't even, these people, you know what? These people are not interested in honest debate. They're not. They are not. And this woman proves it. This is why sometimes you cannot debate these people, because they lie. They are not interested in the truth. The NRA, and this is going back to the article, the NRA, like the fossil fuel industry, has lobbied extensive for laws, interpretations that protect their profits at the expense of human life, and tainted Supreme Court has enabled them. It is a good thing education in red states is also subpar, or people might read up on American civics and see deadly pattern. Man, and she just insulted the red states as well. Wow. Guns and racism make a lethal combination in DeSantis, Florida. Florida is perhaps the most lethal state of all because its governor promotes guns and espouses racist policy at the same time. What has he said that is racist? It says Ron DeSantis previously made it legal to drive over protesters in Florida without criminal penalty and made it obvious that he was targeting Black Lives Matter. You know what? That's it. You know what? We got to pull the receipts. Hold on one second, okay? Because I got to tell you, if anybody saw what I saw, okay, from Texas to all of these 23 states that had all these riots. Remember, I did a story, and Axios had already put a number on all of the riots and the damage that they caused across this country to the tune of $2 billion. Okay, Axios did that. I'm gonna pull this up. Let me pull this up. I want to show you something. Okay, this is the reason why people were running protesters over. Here is the reason. Guys, they chased this guy down the street, and look at what is going to happen now. They got the helicopter light on them. And look at what they're doing.
They're trying to grab the driver. They're trying to grab the driver of the car. This is getting ugly really, really quick. Really quick. That pickup pulled right in front of the car. Now you have protesters beating up that driver, trying to get through the crowd. And here he goes again. He's stepping on it, and they're going to follow him. Look at that. Multiple protest vehicles that chased him up the block, tried to pull the driver out of the vehicle. And now the driver speeding down, I think that's El Centro Avenue. Oh boy, they may try and catch up with him. Look at him speeding off. Stay with the car. They may pull into the shot here, so just keep an eye.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
If that is not evidence enough to run through these protesters, I'm telling you, from now on, to be honest, if anybody ever is in that position, you should do same thing this guy did. Or if you have your AR-15 or weapons with you, I guess you could just shoot out the window, right? Oh, no. We don't want to suggest that, right? Check this out, okay? Check this out from this woman, what she has just said. I cannot believe. So she has really honestly has said that Ron DeSantis made it legal to drive over protesters. I want you to watch this.
Atlantic Avenue last night, a truck was seen driving through the crowd
That driver tells his side of the story only to 10 on Your Side's Andy Fox.
Yeah, Regina, here's the bottom line. They are still cleaning up after last night's chaos. And as you said, Manny, who was in the red pickup truck driving, we interviewed him earlier today. Late this afternoon, we found out that police would like to talk to him. In this video from Chopper 10, you can clearly see what appears to be a protester standing in the front of this red pickup truck. We showed the video to the driver of the pickup named Manny, who on social media is accused of trying to run over protesters. He denies that.
If I went to a protest to run over people like they say I did, why wouldn't I run over the lady standing in front of my truck, pushing against my truck?
It is also clear one of the protesters is striking Manny with a stick-like object, and he has the wound as proof of that.
I was creeping forward. I wasn't going to stop because we were getting attacked. I mean, look at my arm. We were getting attacked, hitting with boards. They literally knocked my dog out. They hit my fiance in the head with a glass bottle.
We asked Manny if he's a racist. That is also stated on social media. Turns out his mother is African American.
If anything was happening, I can't be a racist. I'm literally mixed. I'm black and Mexican. My adopted parents are black.
What is true, Manny was supportive of police and told them so every time he saw an officer while he was walking.
I was flying American flags. You guys, everyone wants to stand for what they represent. I was standing for what I represent. Patriotism. Your cause may not be exactly my cause, but I stand for unity in one. That does not unity in one. I support Black Lives Matter, but I do not support the violence.
Protest organizers told us Manny was revving his loud truck to intimidate, and he should not have been in the middle of the protest. And we now know Virginia Beach police are looking to talk to him. Were you looking for trouble?
No, sir. I was trying to leave. The police told me to go one way, and by the time I got there, all the protesters were there. I stopped behind a police car, and he told me to go. Just go, get out. And that's what I was doing. And my goal was never to hit anyone. My goal was never to run anyone over.
Guys, if you saw this, if you were in that position, what would you do? They made a whole movie about John Wick when they killed his dog, okay? And they knocked out his dog and they were striking his fiance. My friend, nobody wants to know what somebody who is wise to this crap, to this bullshit. Let them get somebody who has just decided, you know what, I'm not going to take this. I got weapons in my car. I carry them on the regular. Let them do some shit like that. Watch what happens. Fuck, man. Do I need to read the rest of this? Let me read the rest of this, guys. Okay? This woman she is unbelievable. She lives in a complete bubble. Let's read the rest of this. It says here, the next year, as multiple neo-Nazi protests took place in Florida, complete with white power insignia and anti-Biden banners, DeSantis hesitated to condemn the protesters at all. Why would he condemn them? If they have anti-Biden banners, even if they have white power out there, if they are protesting peacefully, why would you condemn them? I wouldn't do it. Hey, this is their First Amendment right. Respect it. If they get out of order, that's when we move in. That's all. DeSantis has always supported permitless concealed carry, which became Florida's law in 2023. He is also a champion of stand your ground laws, under which people can shoot and kill because they feel threatened by another person. I think it's a little bit more than that, mama. Racial inequities under stand your ground are unmistakable. When white shooters all kill black victims, they are deemed justified. This is bullshit. I don't even want to read the rest of this. This is really nasty. Okay, this woman, I gotta say, is a very nasty woman. This is just plain hate. It really is. I thought I was gonna read it in its entirety, guys, but you guys can maybe if you want to come and check it out. But my goodness, she has no idea what she's talking about. And I will say this, you will encounter people like this who know nothing, and not only do they know nothing, they don't even want to know. So meaning, even if I, like what I'm doing right now, is presenting some facts to you, okay? I didn't even present that much, to be honest, okay? They wouldn't even listen. And that's the real problem in our country, to be honest. People have become they have become zealots to their ideology, to the point where they don't even want to hear a difference of opinion. I don't know if you notice, guys, okay, those who are on the right, okay, they have more of a tolerance to hear what you have to say. This is a fact. Those on the left, they rarely engage in debate. They rarely use facts when they speak. It's very rare for them to engage in debate at all. I can name a couple though. I would say Bill Maher is one of them. Definitely a leftist, but he's got Trump derangement syndrome. You have who are those people from? I think it's Crystal Ball and something else. You got Jimmy Dore. You have you got some people that are on the left that don't mind it, but it's not the majority. It's a minority of those people. And so, guys, you know what? Let's finish this off, I guess. Please go and watch another one of my videos. I gotta tell you, this is really I'm actually a little bit surprised that she can talk like this. I mean, of all that has come about, and in September 5th, 2023, you talk like this. When you hear hate speech, this is definitely what it looks like. Okay. Wow. Anyway, guys, you know what I say at the end of these videos, and I mean it. Good people have guns. Good people should always have guns. Because if good people do nothing, guys, you'll end up like this woman here. She'll, you know, the hatred. And imagine, what do you do when people like this want to take firearms away from you? When people like this, they say you are a racist when you know you're not. You just have a different ideology. You have to be wary of people like this. You do. You have to be able to defend yourself. You got no problem with what they have to say. We don't. Most of us are on the right. We're not worried about what they have to say. But it's only when they get violent and their side gets violent. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all those riots with George Floyd and Joseph Blake and all that nonsense that went on, it is the left that does this. Guys, it is, if you are looking for anyone to cast the first stone, it is the left. Look no further than the left. And this is why you must be armed. You have to be. Almost everything now is political. Good people have guns. Good people should always have guns. And if good people do nothing, there will be no good guys.